Hey, what's going on, guys? JVT Gaming here, and today we are jumping into Pokemon Legends Arceus. And more specifically, we're going to be doing a basic beginner guide for this particular game. It's very different from any mainstream Pokemon game that we've played in the past. So, we're going to kind of go over the basics and give kind of a good overview and just a good all around guide for somebody just jumping into this game. There are a lot of guides out there on Pokemon Legends Arceus, and most of them go over just kind of tips and tricks on in certain things you can do. I really want to put together this video to kind of put together the core components for somebody just starting this game, such as progression, what you need to look for to progress in the game, certain components in game, such as the phone, satchel, Pokedex. We'll go over stuff like that, the storage system for your Pokemon, the item storage, and other things. Basically, just a well rounded guide to get you started, and with a few little tips and tricks here and there. So, starting off this video, like I said, this is very different from any mainstream Pokemon that we've played in the past. Pokemon Legends Arceus is very different due to the fact that the mainstream Pokemon titles mainly play progression through the region, building a well-rounded party, defeating other trainers, gym leaders, and making your way to the league to become champion. That is kind of the main goal of the mainline Pokemon games. And in Legends Arceus, like I said, it's very different. So in Pokemon Legends Arceus, you are a member of the Galaxy Expedition team, and before you become one, you're actually kind of known as the guy that falls out of the sky and is found by Professor Lavington. But you are a member of the Galaxy Expedition team, taking place in the Hisu region, which is later going to be known as the Sinnoh region that we all know today. So this is pre-Sinnoh region. And with this game being pre-Sinnoh region, this is where settlers of Jubilife Village don't know much about Pokemon. And as a trainer, your goal is to research Pokemon of the region and complete the first Pokedex. So starting off, let's talk about progression. The main area where you're going to find what you need to do is if you hit the minus button on your Joy-Cons or on your Pro Controller. This will bring up the map, and the map will look very different if you are out in one of the fields in kind of the open world area of the game. Right now we are in Jubilife Village, so this will show different objectives and POIs on the map. And there are different things you can fast travel to, which can make things a little bit quicker. They're definitely quicker than sprinting to. But the main thing we want to go over in here is the missions and requests. So you hit Y. This will bring up the missions that you have to complete in order to progress in the game. The missions are going to kind of be mainline missions that work you through the game, kind of unlock different areas. A lot of these are going to take you to the commander, and you're going to be talking to the commander. So a lot of these, the early ones, definitely help you learn the game a little bit, and they're kind of designed as tutorials to help you learn the game. And if you go over to requests, these are common requests that people of Jubilife Village will ask you to do, and just kind of people throughout the game. And they'll give you an objective, and you do earn rewards. This is something you will want to keep an eye on early game, and you'll want to complete these because a lot of these items can be very useful early game. As you can see, Oran berries, experience candy, Pokeballs. There's all sorts of rewards that can be very useful early game. So you'll definitely want to try and complete these, or just not to have it to where it stacks up and you're doing these post game. So it's good to do those. But this is all found in the Arceus phone. So this is going to be a spot you'll be in quite a bit. So another thing, on the left side of the screen, along with our Arceus phone, we have an icon that looks like a little box. If you hit up on the D-pad, this is your satchel. And this is kind of a mix between games we've seen in the past. In the past, you would basically hit your start menu, and then you would have the option to go into your bag, and you'd have all your items. And there would also be a separate option to view your party Pokemon. And in this game, it condenses it down into one, which is kind of cool. I think it is nicely organized the way they did it. So on the left-hand side, we have your different items, and there are two categories that I have so far. I don't know if there's any more post-game, or later on in the game, but we have everyday items and we also have key items. And on the right side, we have our party Pokemon, which is nice that it's in one spot, in my opinion, and it's all organized very nicely. As we're scrolling through here, I can kind of show you too some other things that is very different in this game. As you can see, I have my starter Pokemon with Cyndaquil. It does have the option right now. This game doesn't automatically evolve your Pokemon, but it gives you the option to. So if you reach a certain level and it's ready to evolve, you can just hit A and it'll evolve. You can also change moves when it learns new moves. Instead of in the past where you have to sacrifice a move your Pokemon already knows, in this game you actually have a pull here on the left side and you can swap moves in and out, which is a really good plus. And also in the satchel, this can be kind of confusing. The satchel also has more of your options menus. So if you hit ZR, that'll bring you over to your player card. And this is also where you can save the game. Right now I do have autosaves turned off, and this will show you some of your information, and you can always save the game here. If you hit the right trigger again, or ZR on here, this will show different things as far as playing online. Lost and found. This is if you do find items on the ground, or it'll show items that people have lost in one of the fields. So if you do find them, you can return them. There are mystery gifts, which is something I haven't clicked on yet. And then if you go all the way to the right by hitting the right trigger again, this is where you can go into your settings and you can mess with some of those as well. So it is already by default on fast, which is kind of nice. There might not be a whole lot in here that you want to mess with, but that is the satchel. And the next item down on the left side of our screen, if you hit down on the D-pad, this is the Pokédex. And I'm sure everyone is pretty familiar with the Pokédex who's played Pokemon. This basically shows all the Pokemon you've encountered in some way. If you've just encountered them in the wild, you have them in your party or in your storage. This will just show all the Pokemon you've come in contact with in one way or another. And the big difference on this one, it'll obviously show just some kind of basic information on the first tab. But an important one in progression in this game is research level. So if you tap A, you will see that there are different types of research tasks. And this is very important when it comes to progression in the game. As you do different research tasks per Pokemon, this will get you a higher and higher research level. And when you do complete research tasks, this will earn you money, and it will also earn you experience for your actual player. And from there, as you can see towards the bottom, those stars, you earn certain XP, and if you present that to the commander, you level up and it gives you more perks. So the Pokédex is pretty simple. Really, the big takeaway is just to come here to reference the research tasks. And a lot of these quests that we found earlier do have to do with the different research tasks per Pokemon. So the next thing, if you just started playing this game, you're probably asking yourself certain things like, where do I go view the Pokemon that I've caught? Where do I heal my Pokemon? Because it's very different. In previous Pokemon games, you basically go to a town that you've just discovered or a town that you've been to before, and you have something like a Pokemon Center, a Pokemart, and it takes care of all of those things. Well, as far as Pokemon storage goes, used to be you would go to the Pokemon Center and access a PC, and it kind of evolves to just having your entire party inside your menus as far as the game UI goes. Now you have to visit Mary, and this is the pasture, and the pasture is where you store all of your Pokemon. So very similarly to the PC or previous storage systems that we've seen, you can store any Pokemon that aren't in your party in here, and you can search different Pokemon. You can view all pastures if you hit the plus button, so you can see there's quite a few boxes you can have. But this is how you manage storage for your Pokemon. And this is located right here to the east of Jubilife Village. As you can see right over here, this is the icon that it has for pastures. And that is where you store your Pokemon. On the topic of storage, if you see these chests around, this is like a global storage system for items that you pick up in the game or items that you craft. And you will see these boxes kind of all throughout the game. As you see, we have one here at the gates going outside of the village. Then you also have them in your living quarters, which isn't far from here. And as you can see, you have one in your home, and you will also have them in camps outside of the village. And this is global, so any items you store inside your house will show up in chests across the map. So basically anything that goes in here, you'll also be able to access in chests outside of your living quarters and anywhere in the camps. So your items are very easily accessible at all times. The importance of item storage is when you do go out into the wild, things in your satchel, your basic items can get lost if you get eliminated or knocked out. So it's good to make sure that you always store some of your more valuable items and just kind of keep the essentials that you need. As you can see right now in the open world of the village, on the right side of the screen, right now I have my items tabbed in, so I can select between different items I'd like to throw. But these are your items you can quick select to and throw. Then if you hit X, you will tab over to your Pokemon, so you can spawn your Pokemon and take them out of the ball. And then also, if you do want to engage a Pokemon and battle them, you can throw one of your Pokemon at them, and that'll get you into a battle. Another big thing we're going to talk about is how do you heal your Pokemon? Previous games, you always go to the Pokemon Center and heal your party that way. In this game, you basically just go to any spot you can rest, which is similar to, we have seen this in the past where there are certain rest areas, but in this, it actually will change the time. So we can rest until morning, and then from there, our party will be healed and it will change the time slightly. And different rest areas can be found. This is the one in the living quarters, but you can also find them at camps outside of the village. So let's talk about going outside of the village. Basically, you go to the gates and they will open up the map, and these are all the different fieldlands you can go to, or the different lands you can go to, we'll say. Jubilife Village, as you can see, this is where we are. Starting off, you start off in the Obsidian Fieldlands, and you kind of learn the game in the wild out here. So if we select this, we can travel to different camps within the Obsidian Fieldlands. And different lands will have different amounts of camps. And like I mentioned earlier, camps are just kind of a resource for you. It's like a small resource outside of the village. You have your chest where you can access your items. The item storage can be accessed. You can rest and heal your Pokemon. Then you can go to Professor Lavington and let him know of any Pokemon that you've caught and gained any sort of research on. So this is just kind of a small resource camp while you're in the wild. And this is obviously where you will encounter wild Pokemon. And as far as it goes, there are many ways you can encounter Pokemon. As you can see, some might run away from you or run towards you. Some may try to attack you. Kind of just depends the type of Pokemon you're encountering. And there are a couple ways to catch and interact with them. You can basically, in this game, which is far different from others, you can catch Pokemon while not entering a battle. If you hold down the right trigger with the Pokeball, and then hold down left trigger to focus on a target, you can just throw a Pokeball and attempt to catch the Pokemon. Another way to interact with wild Pokemon is if you do hit X and you want to battle, you can throw one of your party Pokemon at the Pokemon and you will engage in a battle. So your party will both gain experience for catching Pokemon, whether they enter a battle or not, battling with them, or eliminating them as well. Pokemon 2, you'll be able to see the different types of icons that pop up above them if they're alerted by your presence, or if they do see you, you'll see different icons for that. And you can crouch in this game too to make yourself a bit more stealthy, but Pokemon like these Starly will be pretty keen to you still then. As I showed earlier, you can throw berries, and this can help you capture Pokemon. So if you throw a berry, you can kind of see the way they interact with it. We see the Starly kind of go towards it. This can kind of make them easier to catch from time to time. And you can just use it to kind of draw their attention away from you. So it's a little bit more of a tactical play using berries. So how to get items walking around in the in the fieldlands. You'll see trees that have different types of berries or acorns, and it's always good to collect these. And basically you can just throw one of your party Pokemon at the tree and they will knock the whatever is in the tree out of it. Same goes for these rock formations that you find. This will contain some sort of tumblestone or some sort of stone. Those are also good to collect, and you can collect those the same way. Another important thing to note is you can be attacked by wild Pokemon. As you can see, there's a red eye that will appear in the top of your screen. That will let you know a Pokemon is targeting you. As you can see, this Geodude here isn't really happy with our presence, so we will dodge his attacks. And you can also dodge by hitting the Y button to do kind of a jump roll, and that can get you out of dodge. And you can kind of run away from Pokemon, and once that eye goes away, you're no longer being targeted. One thing you get pretty early on in the game, which can help you travel around the fieldlands pretty fast, is the Pokemon Wyrdeer. And this is basically a tool that just kind of help you get around the map that you do get pretty early on in the game. You hit the plus button on the D-pad, that will summon him, and you basically just ride around on Wyrdeer. So this is definitely useful if you are being targeted by Pokemon. You can hop on him and get away from them relatively quick. And you can take fall damage in this game, so that is one other way that you can take damage. So that's one thing to be mindful of as well. So not only your health of your Pokemon, but you got to make sure you keep decent health of your actual player. One thing to note too, when you are riding Wyrdeer, you can pick up items on the ground while riding them. Basically, you just ride over top of them and spam A, you'll be able to pick it up. One thing to talk about too is alpha Pokemon. These are Pokemon you will discover when you are outside of the village. And they're basically larger in size from the general species, and they have red eyes. And they are higher level compared to the other ones that you'll find in the area. So it's definitely good to battle them to try and obtain more XP, catch them. But just be mindful that they are much more powerful than other ones you'll encounter nearby. One thing we haven't talked about is crafting, which is a new element of this Pokemon game. So crafting can be done in just about any place on the map, no matter if you're in Jubilife Village, if you're outside of Jubilife Village in one of the fields. You can craft. You can either craft at a table that you find at the camp, and basically crafting just allows you to take items that you would normally find in the Pokemart. So we can craft things like Pokeballs if we have the right ingredients, potions, revives, quite a few different things. And as you progress in the game, you'll be able to craft more and more items. So that can be accessed at the camp or where you can find a crafting table, but you also carry one in your satchel. If you go over to key items, you get a crafting table pretty early on, so you can craft on the fly, which is a really nice feature. So one other thing to note is when you are outside of the village and you're catching Pokemon and doing research tasks, you need to go For these to be compensated as far as money goes and for these research tasks to take effect, you need to go to a camp and visit with Professor Lavington, and he will say the amount of Pokemon you've caught. It'll take you to this little UI screen that shows the Pokemon you caught, and it will give you money for catching those Pokemon. Along with that, they will show you the research tasks that you completed through catching the different Pokemon. And through the research, you will rank up and earn experience. And once you earn enough XP, you will be able to go visit with the commander and get another star. Talking about alpha Pokemon, and once you've captured one, for example, in the pasture, if we talk to Marie, we can take a look at our inventory. And in my party right now, I have 2 Wurmples. One is just a regular size Wurmple, level 5, and the other is a level 20 that is an alpha Pokemon. So you can see in the top right, you'll see a little red icon, and that means it is a alpha Pokemon. And another cool thing about it is once you do capture them too, even though they don't have red eyes anymore, they still are very large in size. As you can see, this Chungus Wurmple is pretty big compared to a standard size Wurmple. Alrighty guys, so that is basically my ultimate beginner's guide, just the bare bones basics to get you into Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now there is some things we did not talk about in this game, such as the wisps, the space and time distortion areas, and quite a few other things, but this, like I said, this is just the bare bones basics to get you started. And it was just, I wanted to put together this video because I was kind of confused on what to do and how to go about playing this game and progressing. So hopefully this video helps you guys out if you are in the same boat. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, make sure to drop a like on it. And if you want to see more gaming videos in Pokemon Legends Arceus and more games, be sure to subscribe. As always guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.